we're back with another video. What's going on, beautiful people? I'm your host, Avery Wright, bringing you your Week 4 Carolina Panthers preview against the Arizona Cardinals this weekend, October 4th, 2020, 1 p.m. at Bank of America Stadium. Be there or be square. Well, yeah, you can't be there because they are actually letting in a few of the fans. I forget how many is supposed to be in attendance, but it's quite a few thousand fans are going to be in attendance for that game, so it should be fun to see what happens. Now, the last time these two teams played, they just played each other last year. Around this time, too. I think it was week 4 of last year, but it was at Glendale, Arizona, and I remember that. That's what started. That was the game where we had Kyle Allen starting. Yeah, and Kyle Allen did a good job against the Cardinals. I mean, led us to a 38-20 win. And it was because of that game afterwards, the media proclaimed that Kyle Allen would become the face of this franchise, saying that he is better than Cam Newton. Boy, were those people wrong. No, don't get me wrong. Kyle Allen got off to a pretty nice start, but after that bye week, man, it all went bad. It all went downhill fast. It was a snowball effect. It was bad. But yeah, the Panthers won that game 38-20. Christian McCaffrey had a really good game, and the last time we played them, like, Cliff Kingsbury was a rookie coach, and Kyler Murray was in his rookie year. So we'll see what happens this time, and those two are playing a lot better this year than they did last year, playing in game planning as a coach. Now, the keys to this game, it all starts with the offense for us, for Carolina. And it starts with the man under center, Teddy Bridgewater. Now, I'm going to be frank. Teddy Bridgewater has not played his best ball as of late. He has been underperforming, actually. I think the last good game he had was maybe that first game against Oakland. Okay. The second game, no, he played terrible in Tampa Bay too. So, yeah, because the game in Oakland wasn't even really all that good. It was subpar, but at least he was launching the ball down the field. And that's what we need to see of this game. Because week 1 against Oakland, he played okay. He threw it down the field, but look, he only threw it down the field when we were losing. Other than that, he wasn't throwing. It looks like he's afraid to throw it downfield. And even when he does throw it downfield, the ball does not look wobbly. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm still used to having Cam Newton throw tight spirals all the time. Teddy's balls look so slow, have no velocity on it, and they just look wobbly. It just doesn't look right. But I don't know. He needs to pick that up, man, because first of all, he can't have any turnovers. We saw what happened in that Tampa Bay game. He had like 3 or 4 turnovers. It was ridiculous. And he needs to be able to throw past the sticks. Throw past the sticks, Teddy. What are you afraid of? We got in the red zone 4 times last week against the Chargers. The defense played well, and they gave us great starting field position. The Panthers should have come away with like 4 touchdowns, or at the very least maybe 3. But no, field goals all those times. And what was Teddy Bridgewater doing? Looking like check down Charlie out there. He was not throwing it in the end zone. He just kept checking it down to Mike Davis. Heck, Mike Davis had more receiving yards than he did rushing yards. It was just bad, man. I mean, what is? I don't understand why he just looks afraid. You can't be afraid to make mistakes. You got to be able to take risks, man. If you want to be a legitimate quarterback in this league, you got to be able to take risks. Now, I'm not saying to throw it into double and triple coverage, but go through your progressions and go through your reads and see what you can find. I know it's a lot easier said than done, especially behind an offensive line like this one, which shout out to Taylor Motton for last week. I forgot to shout him out in the post-game review last week, but he did one heck of a job on Joey Bosa, man. Joey Bosa did not get 1 sack while Taylor Motton was on him. The Panthers need to pay that man. Now, anyway, back to Teddy, and then we'll move on to the offensive line. So far, through the first 3 games, I know it's early, but Teddy Bridgewater has 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. And he has 4 turnovers? It's not good, man. And this is the guy that Matt Rule and everyone said was going to be a great fit for Carolina. Okay. Again, it's still early. I can things can change, but they say they're not rebuilding, and they're saying that they don't want to rebuild, but in essence, we kind of do need to rebuild. Just a little bit, but it's just fun to see what this team can do. Because like I said, there's really no expectations for this Carolina Panthers team. I'm just going with the flow and the emotions, but I know a lot of fans, especially on Twitter and Facebook, a lot of them have some really real high expectations of this Panthers team. It's like, bro, we're a really young team. It's going to be a few years, maybe I say 2 or 3 years until we're actually back in the playoffs and contending. We just have a lot to deal with. But don't tell that to Twitter and Facebook, because they think Teddy Bridgewater is the truth. They think he's better than Cam Newton. And then you just have everyone's just been feuding with each other. It's just been Panther Nation has really been in shambles all over Facebook and Twitter since the Cam Newton release. It's crazy. That's a whole nother topic for like a whole nother story. But again, Teddy can't have these interceptions, man. He can't, because the defense is really young, and the defense is almost giving up 300 yards, passing yards per game, and almost 130 rushing yards a game. So again, the defense is young. They have like a lot of first, second, and third year players, and maybe 1 or 2 veterans, because they got rid of everybody on defense that was old, that was like older, like a veteran, anywhere from a 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 veteran. Like, I think the oldest people on that defense is probably Kawan Short, who's probably in his, what, 7th season, and Trey Boston, who's been there for, like, a nice hot minute. But Teddy has to be, he literally has to play above average or great for the Panthers to be able to win these ball games. And like I said, they got lucky last week. They got so lucky last week. The defense did bail them out. But we can't expect this young Panthers defense to keep playing like how they did last week against the Chargers. It's not fair to them for them to keep playing like that, and for Teddy to just keep laying goose eggs on offense, man. It just can't happen. It can't. Now, I think they said Teddy Bridgewater, he has thrown 871 yards so far this year. And I think he's like top 5 or like top 7 in passing yards so far through 3 games. But that's only because most of his yards have come in garbage time when we're losing. Like I said, the only time I remember him really throwing the deep ball is when we were down against Tampa Bay and when we were down and struggling against Oakland. I don't know. He just looks timid, man. Again, he has to get over that. And for the Panthers to win this weekend against Arizona, Teddy has to be good on offense, man. That's about it. Moving on to the offensive line. The offensive line needs to play well like how they did last week. I think they gave up maybe 1 sack, I want to say. But again, Taylor Martin, props to that man. But the offensive line they're going up against some hard hitters, man. They're going up against Jordan Hicks, Hassan Reddick, Devondre Campbell, the captain of that defense, Chandler Jones, and Corey Peters. Man, that group together, they got about 4 sacks last week, even though they lost to Detroit, but they sacked Matt Stafford 4 times. And then also in the backfield, you got to watch out for Budda Baker and Patrick Peterson. Look, I'm not really worried about Budda Baker and Patrick Peterson. Don't get me wrong. They're really great ball players, but with the speed that Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore have, I think they'll be able to get past those two. I'm more so worried about those linebackers and defensive tackles I just mentioned. Because if the offensive line cannot step up, Teddy's going to get sacked, and it's going to look like Tampa Bay all over again. Strip sacks and fumbles, and he's just going to look atrocious. So we just can't let that happen. And I would like to see more from Robbie Anderson. Now, last week was like the only time Robbie Anderson hasn't gotten over 100 yards receiving. And it's like a lot of people say, Robbie Anderson plays mad. I mean, to be honest, wouldn't you play mad too if you were playing for that organization called the New York Jets? But now he's in Carolina. I mean, it's not that much better, but, it has the potential to be a lot better within the coming years. A lot better than the Jets. But, they're winning the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes because, I'm recording this on a Thursday night, and they just lost again to the Denver Broncos. But I do want to see Robbie Anderson get back over 100 yards because he has speed, and the double move that he uses is really lethal. It's really lethal. And then you have DJ Moore. I think DJ Moore only had 2 catches last week. And he was open down the field. Going back and looking at the tape, you see DJ was open on a lot of plays downfield, but Teddy just looks too timid. And again, like I'm always going to say for Curtis Samuel, get him more involved in the passing game, please. They just keep using him as a running threat. I mean, he is, but still, he needs to be able to catch the ball downfield. We have all 3 of those guys have blazing speed, especially Curtis Samuel and Robbie Anderson. We need to be able to use that. And Curtis Samuel and DJ Moore they're very slippery and very elusive. We have to be able to use that to our advantage. Hopefully Matt Rule and Joe Brady are starting to see that and we can work it together. Now, for the defense. Oh, I forgot to talk about the running backs. I mean, the Cardinals are allowing a little bit over 100 yards a game. But the running game, it really has looked a little weird. No, get me wrong. Mike Davis played decently last week. He was decent. I still want to see more from him. And I want Reggie Bonnafon to get some more touches. Reggie Bonnafon is a really good running back. And I'm sticking to it. I'm a big Reggie Bonnafon fan, and I want to see him get more touches. Be able to spread the sugar and share the wealth between Mike Davis and Reggie Bonnafon. I know Mike Davis has a lot to prove, but Reggie Bonnafon does too, man. I just want to see those two both be successful with McCaffrey out, and we're going to need it. Now, moving on to the defense. Man, they are going to have their hands full with this running game. Like I said, Carolina is allowing a little bit over 130 rushing yards a game. Again, they're a young defense, but you just can't let that happen, especially against a team that relishes in the RPO with Kyler Murray, who has blazing speed for a quarterback. On top of that, with his short size, he's hard to get to the ground. Couple that with the running back in Kenyon Drake, it's a lot, man. It's a lot to defend. And I'm just letting y'all know right now, if Kenyon Drake isn't gonna be going with the running game, if he can't get it going, it most definitely will be Kyler Murray. I don't know how the Panthers are playing for this, but those two will probably go bonkers on this defense. And again, Carolina's given up almost 300 yards worth of passing offense. We saw what happened last week on that last drive by Justin Herbert. He almost won that game. They had the ball on the 1-yard line and almost got a 99-yard drive for the game winner. That is ridiculous. We can't let that happen. Again, the offense needs to be able to put up points on the board, and they can't keep going these 3-and-outs and field goals. They need to be able to score. Give the young defensive some time to rest, man. They need it. And like I said, Kenyon Drake, Kyler Murray, they're going to be hard to bring down. But that's the least of our worries. Well, it's one of the worries, but then you have to worry about the other skills players with those wide receivers. You have Keyshawn Johnson, the second-year man, and Andy Isabella. And then, of course, one of, if not the best wide receiver in the league right now, DeAndre Hopkins. I don't know who's going to guard DeAndre. It might be Dante Jackson, but I don't even know if Dante Jackson is playing this week. He did something with his toe or his foot, something like that, and we don't even know if he's going to play this weekend. If Dante Jackson is not playing this weekend, you can expect DeAndre Hopkins to get almost 200 yards receiving. It might look like that Julio game from 4 years ago where he had 300 yards. I don't want it to be like that, but it's a possibility. It could end up like that. Andy Isabella from UMass, so he's coming into his own. And then Keyshawn Johnson, another good guy. And they have Christian Kirk. So they have some really good skills players, and Cliff Kingsbury will probably utilize every skills player he has on that team this weekend to get the win. Because, they lost to their NFC North rivals in the Lions, so they're going to be pretty ticked off coming into Bank of America Stadium trying to get a win. So we'll see what happens. What I'm most looking forward to in this game is probably to see how Teddy plays. That'll really tell the story of the game. If Teddy plays terribly and doesn't throw it down the field, I'm telling you right now, Arizona is going to blow us out 31-10. Now, if he does play well and does throw down the field, then it'll be a closer game. But I still have Arizona just edging us out. Sadly, I'm sorry. I'm just being truthful. That's just how it is. That's one thing you'll notice about me on this podcast. I will be truthful. And I hope I'm wrong. But yeah, if Teddy doesn't show up, it's going to be 31-10 Arizona. If Teddy does show up, I say 31-24 Arizona. Hopefully I'm wrong about both. Hopefully Carolina could blow them out. Or maybe they could just edge it out in another close one. You know, they are the Cardiac Cats, so I wouldn't put it past them. They shocked me last week against the Chargers. They could shock me again this week against Arizona, so we'll see. You never know. With the NFC South, it's just been a weird year for the NFC South. Drew Brees looks like he's really a shadow of himself now. I don't know. I don't even know what's going on with those boys down in Atlanta, man. They just been choking a lot. The best one looking right now is Tampa Bay. And the fact of the matter is that's not saying a whole lot because Brady really still isn't even on the same page with most of his receiving corps. He's still getting used to it. Just imagine what he's going to be like a year from now. Or later in this year. It's going to be ridiculous. So we'll see what happens, man. The NFC South, heck, for all we know, like I said, I'm about to sound like a Panthers fan on Facebook. For all we know, Carolina could end up winning this division, but we don't need that because for us to we have a lot of stuff to build off of, and we need to get better pieces, and it all starts with the quarterback position. Look, I like Teddy. The brother he's a average quarterback. He's just a game manager, man. Teddy's not gonna win you games, okay? Oh, but he did it last year in New Orleans. He kind of did, but were they really losing? You saw when they got really far behind, like in that Rams game, he played terrible. When they got far behind, he can't lead you to a comeback. The games where he was winning as a starter, the defense was really helping him out a lot. Don't get me wrong, he was still playing well, but the defense was also helping him. So again, we'll see what happens, but at the end of the day, we need a new quarterback because that man looks too scared to throw down the field. But it is what it is. And we'll see what happens this weekend. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully Carolina can shock me and they can come out with a win. So we'll see what happens. And so that's all I got for you guys today. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that other good stuff. And I'll see you guys later on Monday when I will be doing the review, post-game review for this game. Until then, you guys stay blessed, stay healthy, and go Panthers.
Cut him off. This is my time and I'm going off. I told the doctor to pull the plug. I'm cutting ties and this ain't a bluff. I don't got time.